So for today's course, Business Analytics for Module 3, we're going to discuss about data visualization, focus on dashboard and spreadsheet models. So what does it mean? Here, students, in order to interpret data, it is necessary to visualize the data in some way. Creating a data visualization can be as simple as creating a summary table, or it can require creating charts to help more interpretation, analysis, and learning from the said data. Now, by using data visualization and spreadsheet models, with the aid of spreadsheet models, you can identify errors in your data and reduce your data sets size by highlighting relationship and trends in the data. Now, visualizing the data can also help convey your analysis to other individuals. Let's say if you're also trying to present your findings as to the use of data to other individuals. Now, the purpose of business analytics is to make better decisions, but in many cases, the ultimate decision maker is not the same person analyzing the data. So with the use of visualization or data visualization, somehow, even a normal individual should have means to understand the kind of data that you are presenting. Therefore, the person analyzing the data has to make analysis simple for others to understand. The proper data visualization techniques in today's lesson will provide the ability of the decision maker to interpret the analysis easily. So what will be the take of students in today's Module 3 lesson? So students should be able to understand and describe the use of data visualization and spreadsheet models. So we're going to begin our discussion. We're going to talk about data dashboard. I believe you're already familiar about chart, scatter plots. You already had familiar that on some other subjects that you enrolled before, like the subjects called MIS or business data processing and such. This time we're going to further refine your knowledge in terms of the use of other functions inside Excel program. So if for those who have ideas about how to create data dashboard, this is good for you. So you might be able to somehow be at par to me in terms of how to create data dashboard. For those who doesn't have knowledge about data dashboard, it is best that you can be able to follow the instructions which will be given later when we try to create your first data dashboard. All right, so let's proceed now to data dashboard. So that is our consideration for this module learning. So for data dashboard, when we say data dashboard, these are a representation in Excel where we tend to visualize data. This is a data visualization tool that updates in real time. Later, I'm going to state why it's real time in dashboard. Let's say if you try to make changes from one aspect of data or even the arrangement of data, automatically everything will change. Data visualization for dashboard sometimes illustrate multiple metrics and automatically updates these metrics as new data become available. In short, if you're going to be working someday and you notice that your organization, let's say you're working in a sales organization, and you notice that they don't have a particular dashboard where they can use to illustrate and visualize data in real time, then this is your opportunity. You can create a simple data dashboard for your organization. Okay, so again, kindly follow what we're going to do in today's lesson. It mentioned that a while ago that there are certain metrics that we need to follow and we need to illustrate. Let's say we wanted to find out the metrics in terms of sales performance. So a sales performance for an organization can indicate or it can illustrate as an example of a KPI or key performance indicator. So what is KPI if we're going to use a dashboard? So a KPI in dashboard serves as a metric that is crucial for understanding the current performance of an organization. So this is one way on how to illustrate a metric in the form of key performance metrics or KPMs as what we often refer to it. Right now, what we're going to do, we're going to create a data dashboard for a sales organization. Okay, so let's say we're going to find out who are the among top performers in our company. Let's say we have salesperson 1, salesperson 2, salesperson 3, and so on. So we're going to create these metrics with the use of our data. Make sure we have data so that we will be able to do this data dashboard. Okay. In today's lesson, I think it should be the best interest of the student when we try to understand Excel data dashboard. You should know the following in terms of its purpose and functionality. Like when we talk about cross tabulation, there are a lot of cross tabulation that we can do for Excel. Now, a cross tabulation is a tabular summary of data for two variables. Let's say you wanted to compare the performance, sales revenue, and the performance of each salesperson. So we already have two data variables here, salesperson and sales revenue. The classes of one variable in a cross tabulation are represented by rows, and the classes for other variables are represented by columns. We're going to do a lot of pivot chart making here and pivot table. So what does this two represents in Excel? So in Excel, when we say pivot chart, these are graphical representation created in Excel, which function is similar to a pivot table. So what is a pivot table now? A pivot table is a cross tabulation created in Excel that is interactive. Later, I'm going to showcase as well the function of a slicer. What does a slicer provide in tables or pivot tables? So on our next slide, we're going to find out the uses of dashboard for most organizations nowadays. So the use of dashboard nowadays for most organizations, somehow for management, it really helps monitor specific aspects of the company's performance as to KPIs and KPMs. No? These KPIs and KPMs are somehow related to organizations' ability in terms of making decisions. No? For corporate level managers, it's stated here that daily data dashboards might be able to summarize sales by region or by state or by locality, no? Or in terms of revenue or in terms of inventory levels and other organizations, company metrics that they use. Now, another use of dashboard is for frontline managers. Frontline managers may view dashboard that contains metrics related to, let's say, staffing levels. Let's say I wanted to find out the performance of one particular person. And I wanted to find out also the performance in terms of inventory levels that we have in our department. And I wanted also to address the short-term sales forecast made by different salespersons. So that is somehow the use of dashboard for most organizations. On our next presentation here, there's also reasons why we use data dashboard. In this particular slide, what are the principles of effective data dashboard? So as you can see in this figure, this particular dashboard should provide timely summary of information on the different key performance indicators. If I am your CEO or president, if I'm having this kind of dashboard, I can easily identify whether my company's target is actually acquiring. No? I was able to acquire both in terms of sales performance, in terms of individual performance, and top region of the country where sales are very competitive. So this somehow provides a summary of information. Another thing for dashboards or data dashboard, it's somehow, if we're going to create a data dashboard, it should present all key performance indicators as a single screen, okay? Where the user can quickly scan and understand the business current state of operations. As you can see, if you're going to look on the graphics here or the figure here, you can actually see the present situation of the organization. Okay, so in terms of the sales trend, in terms of the top 5 customers of the company have, and so on. So the key performance indicators in the dashboard is somehow should display and should convey meaning to its users and be related to the decisions the users make. If I am the one who's looking right now in this kind of data dashboard, let's say I am the front line staff or a secondary level manager position, so this kind of data should somehow suffice my need in terms of creating decisions every day. So a data dashboard in this particular should call attention to unusual measures that may require attention. Let's say you see on the sales trend that you're experiencing a kind of low in terms of sales. So with this data dashboard, you can actually call and notice the sales manager, the one who handles the salesperson, and then you can come up with several strategies or benchmarking, or even meet all of those salesperson, no? And raise some issues regarding the downtrend of your sales in a particular situations. No? As you can see in this particular figure, it is represented by different kinds of colors. So colors should be used to call attention to specific values to differentiate categorical variables. Again, my suggestion is that you use psychology of color. There's a lot of articles that sometimes explains the use of color in some let's say if you're going to create dashboard or report, so color should be somehow very essential. But the use of color should be restrained. Let's say we should somehow limit the use of one color or particular colors in a certain dashboard. Anyway, Excel had a way on how to resolve that particular issue when it comes to using colors. So you don't have to worry about that. On your screen again, on your right screen, we have here different kinds of slicer. We call this slicer. So we have salesperson, state, and region. So what does a slicer means? So a slicer provides button. These are actually button that you're seeing on your screen right now, on the right screen. These are actual buttons that you can click to filter tables. And let's say not only tables, but also pivot tables. In addition to quick filtering, slicers have the ability to indicate the current filtering state, which makes it easy to understand what exactly is currently being displayed. I think I'm about to show you now the components of a slicer. So the first one here, we call this one the header, the slicer header. The slicer header indicates the category of the item or the items in the slicer. So for number two, we have the filtering button. Let's say you wanted to choose a particular salesperson. You can do that, no? A filtering button is not selected indicates that the item is not included in the filter. So you should somehow customize the button in a way that what the button should actually do when you try to press the button. Number three here, we have here a filtering button that is selected indicates that the item is included in the filter. Let's say you select fuller in this salesperson selection. So it will be highlighted, and you can see that there's an effect in the data dashboard if you're going to see the information in the data dashboard. We have this thing called number 4, no? On your screen, we have number 4 here, where we call that the clear filter. So the clear filter is a button which sometimes their function is to remove, no? Removes the filter by selecting all items in the slicer. Again, you can somehow edit this button or this filter if you wanted to undergo several editing in the slicer. No, you can do that. There are other properties where you can include in a slicer. So just select the properties and then you can edit some portions of the functionality of the slicer there. 5, of course, you can see we have a slicer also in a way where it does create some sort of a scroll bar. Okay. In our case, there are cases where, like in this picture, we have no scroll bar here. But if the data somehow comprises so many, then most of the time the slicer will create an automatic scroll bar. Unless otherwise in the screen, if you were able to capture the entire data for the salesperson, then sometimes a slicer will automatically remove the scroll bar. So it really depends on how you adjust the slicer. All right, so these are the primary components. I think the number 6 here, the one that we have, this is some sort of border moving and resizing control. Again, you have full control whether what is look like. So let's say in terms of how they big or how they small in your data dashboard. Okay, and at the same time the location, or where does the slicer will be located in your data dashboard. All right, so for the meantime, we're going to continue what or we're going to pause for the meantime, and we're going to continue it on our next synchronous session. And again, thank you so much for listening.